to you. Remember the question Kelly Osbourne asked, we're talking about, I guess this was on The View some time ago, and she's basically saying, well, my gosh, we can't get rid of all these illegal immigrants. Who's going to clean the toilets?
If you kick every Latino out of this country, then who is going to be cleaning your toilet, Donald Trump?
Oh, that's no.
In the sense that,
no.
You know what I mean? Like, when I'm saying
there's more jobs to be
in LA, they always
but they Latinos are not only the only people.
I didn't mean it like that. Come on.
Wow. So apparently now they're screaming the same thing when it comes to Donald Trump's terrible. He's getting rid of everybody. If he does this, my gosh, what are we going to do for doctors and nurses? Joining us now to talk a little bit more at this, Susham M is with us, an immigration expert, former law professor at the University of Houston Law Center, and an immigration attorney with over 14 years of experience. Well, welcome in, Susham.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So, your thoughts on where we are with the immigration policies and Donald Trump tightening up the border and asking people to please do it legally, like we're supposed to, and our immigration laws on the books say. You're an immigration lawyer. You're familiar with the laws on the book, the federal laws. So things are changing after the open border policies of Joe Biden now, and people are being, detained if they're criminals and deported. So when it comes to health workers, what's going on here?
First, in terms of the immigration policies for healthcare workers, if we just take a step back, the system isn't very efficient. So, the Immigration Nationality Act, it's just been revised multiple times by Congress, and Congress really hasn't done a good job of looking at it all as one piece and how it fits together. So, as we know, the government can be quite inefficient at times. So the problem that we have is there's a huge shortfall of healthcare workers, doctors and nurses especially. I think the Baker Institute, really, nonpartisan Rice University document shows that we're probably going to have a shortfall of around 100,000 just nurses and doctors in less than 10 years, which is pretty huge. And that shortfall, it makes sense, right? I mean, we've got a lot of baby boomers, including my parents, that are growing older. So that's going to have an effect on our healthcare system and how we can try to get workers that are qualified.
So what's the answer?
I think it's a twofold answer. I think one, the short term is we definitely need to change our immigration policies and make it more streamlined. You saw Elon Musk earlier this year talk about H-1B visas and how it needs to be refined. And H-1B visas for advanced skill workers, and it's really capped, not just for doctors and nurses, but like all advanced skill workers, engineers, et cetera, that we don't have the qualified workers for. And so I think the short term is we need to expand H-1B visas and other work visas. The mid to long term, I think we need to get those individuals qualified and then teach in our schools. I used to be a law professor as well, and we want to be able to have the programs in place here where we have enough capacity to teach U.S. citizens and U.S. workers too to be able to fulfill that gap in the mid to long term. But that won't be a quick solution. That's going to take a lot more time, investment, and clinical faculty training.
Well, we can't have the attitude that Kelly Osbourne had, that we can't do this. We just got to let everybody that's illegal stay in this country here. Do you think there'll be some compromise when it comes to professionals like doctors and nurses, as some of those folks have been here for years and are not legal citizens, that they'll be able to get on a fast path, if you will, and start the paperwork now? You're not a criminal. You've been productive in society. Where do you see Donald Trump's, long game on people that have been productive here, that if they're willing to get on the program, they'll be allowed to?
Yeah, it would make sense to do it that way, right? Instead of trying to remove someone and then rehire individuals that aren't even, hadn't been qualified or working for the same hospital, et cetera. So it would make sense. Now, do I think it'll actually happen? Probably not. Congress, like I said, is really inefficient. And even President Trump, he doesn't have the power to do this. It's really got to be Congress that's going to change the immigration laws. President Trump, their administration has certain powers in immigration that are more limited. So like some like temporary protected status or some other like parole could be something like a humanitarian way to come here if there's a shortage. But really, when we're talking about like visas, like H-1B visas and TN visas, it's really got to be Congress that steps in.
Do you see any indication that that is going to be on their agenda after they get the budget and bills and all this figured out?
I haven't. I mean, it's quite speculative. I haven't. I mean, even if we just take another step back and talk about the Dreamers, both sides, even Republicans and even Democrats, both have said, "Oh yeah, let's help the kids that have been here that have no criminal history." But that's never happened, and that's been for about 15 years. The DREAM Act was never passed. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm losing some faith here. But hopefully Congress, gets it together and really does a comprehensive immigration reform is what we need instead of this piecemeal legislation like I was talking about earlier. It's really not going to solve the bigger issues.
Well, I mean, the self-deportation that Kristi Noem speaks of, if you do that, then we'll work with you to get back here. Ultimately, I don't think it's logistically possible, first of all, to take everybody that's in this country illegal and get them out of this country. The task is too daunting, for sure. I've said it for years. The toothpaste is out of the tube with the Biden policies, and to get it all put back in, I don't believe it's going to happen. So what do? You got to manage what you can, right? So I hope Congress, as you mentioned, gets on this and takes care of business and makes it possible for those that are illegal, that are good citizens, providing good, jobs and maintaining, giving back to the communities, will be allowed to get on board with becoming U.S. citizens. Now, I'm all about, enforcing that. If you don't get on board, then get going. But, get rid of the gangs and the illegals and the criminals first, and then we'll wrestle with the other monster in the room for sure. Well, it's great talking with you, Susham. Thank you so much for being with me. I appreciate you.